Okay, internets, here's what we have today. We have 5 locks. We have 3 padlocks, 2 disc locks, 2 picks, and 2 tension wrenches. And these 4 items here, the 2 picks and the 2 tension wrenches, are usually what I use. This pry bar has a little notch in it, and this one does not, but both of them have, I don't know if you can see if it's focusing, but both of them have serrated edges which make it a lot easier to grip the cylinder and stay in place while you're applying tension. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, none of these, as far as I know, have security pins except this ace right here. It was about a $12 lock, but it looks surprisingly similar to this God security. Hoi! Impossible! Doesn't say so, but I guarantee this was made in China. Well, let's see if we can rake any of these open. What I do is use my serrated pry bar. I'm going to go bottom of the keyway, and the first thing I do is make sure that you can see movement in the cylinder. And it looks like we're getting some movement. There's a spring action, so that's good. Release tension, insert the Bogota, which is my favorite rake and probably many other people's. Insert it all the way to the back, release tension on the pry bar, reapply tension, and start raking and see what we get. Either it'll open up, there it goes. Jeez, that was pretty fast. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Here's that master lock, and this is a very famous model number 3. And basically, you don't want to breathe on these, because if you do, there's a good chance you're going to open it. Now, I apply pressure to the tension wrench and I release it, reapply, and there it goes. Boom! Or as they say on Adam Carolla's podcast, boom. Now let's move on to the disc locks. This is super high security. Let's see, what is this called? It says defense squared. So apparently it's exponentially more defensive than just a single defense. But, ho-ho! Made in China! They're very clever, very sneaky people. Don't forget Pearl Harbor. I'm just telling you. You gotta watch out, because this is some serious stuff. In this case, with the disc wrench, I'm going to go with the non-notched pry bar, but it does have serration right here that makes it easier to grip. And once again, try not to breathe on it while you're doing this, because if you do, there's a good chance it'll just open on its own. And sometimes you put the pry bar in wrong, or you block some of the pins and it takes a little bit longer, like in this case. And if that happens, stop. Take the pry bar out, or take the tension wrench out, reinsert it, make sure it's getting a little bit of movement. You can see it, a little bit of movement there in the cylinder. Try again, because it shouldn't take more than a few seconds, to be honest. Alright, Bogota, pointy end facing down. Oh, look at that. Open. Maybe we'll have a harder time with the master lock. After all, this sucker's got a unique feature there that covers up the keyway. Oh, that's great. Nice heft on it. This is going to be a tough one, people. I'm just telling you, you might want to crack a beer right now and start reading a book, because who knows how long this is going to take. You never know. Let's see, here we go. You start picking it. You want to feel feedback from the pins, kind of like piano keys. That's how I think of it. Oh, boom, look at that, it's open. Alright, so I've demonstrated the fact that I can rake open locks fairly easily if they don't have security pins. Let's go to this ace lock right here. Take a look at the bitting on the key. I'm not really excited about picking this. You can see that that middle section right here is very, very low, which means you have to be gentle. But let's see what happens. Okay, with the other similar padlock, the Chinese knockoff, I used the notched pry bar and put it in the bottom of the keyway. And I can just tell already the tolerance on this is very, very tight. It just feels much more well made. And right now I can't even rake this sucker. I'm not feeling the piano keys, as I call them, going up and down loosely. It feels wrong. Okay, fine. That's why God invented top of the keyway tension. So we'll put it up here. And yeah, it's made in China also, but for some reason they made this a little bit better. Hey, give them credit, they made my iPhone too. Alright, try it again, top of the keyway tension. Gonna rake it with the Bogota. And just come in here and, alright, sucker fell out. I should be using a vise obviously if I really wanted to do this, but the fact is I've never had any luck with this. So I'm going to give it a few more seconds and I'm going to give up. And I already know I'm not going to be able to do it because I've tried for many, many hours trying to open this just by raking it. I want to see if it's possible. Obviously you can go through and single pin pick it, but that's not the goal. The goal here is to see if, you know, and there's a false set, see if you can quickly rake it with the Bogota, and as it turns out, I'm having a heck of a time. So, release tension, let the pins drop down if they're overset. I know that that middle pin, probably pin 3, is being overset because it's such a shallow bitting. And I ain't getting nowhere fast. Alright. And the average person, if they're gonna try to bypass a lock, they're going to have a certain level of skill, and if they practice it all, they'll be able to rake open the guard security, the master padlock, the master disc lock, and the defense square disc lock, just in a matter of seconds. But if it has security pins, it's going to make it much more difficult because you have to single pin pick it, or use a bump key, or use vibration, or a pick gun, or whatever technique they want to use to bypass it. But it greatly increases your security, and that's why you use a lock that has security pins. Okay? Good night and good luck.